Recording in progress.
I got a notification.
All right. Welcome, everyone, to another exciting season of Factory of Sadness Fantasy Football. Wrap it up.
And we're back.
Smitty, how you doing, man?
Fantastic. How are you?
Good. You can see I'm at the office here, but time is of the essence, and I wanted to make a quick video based on some text going around. Just wanted to go through a few slight rule changes that we needed to make, mainly because of the new schedule. So it's a 17 game schedule, obviously, instead of a 16. So that just changed up the math a little bit. And then just go through the keeper rules real quick, because a couple guys I've talked to had those wrong too. Have a slight change there. And then last but not least, you don't have to watch that. We will be picking names for the divisions out of here. I'm not going to hold up every single name. You guys will just have to take our word for it that this isn't a giant conspiracy theory.
Yeah, right. Your division's going to be you and Joe Yee and Danny Vera and Glenn. No, not Glenn. Bobby. Oh, too bad.
Yeah.
No offense, boys, but offense.
Smitty, you feel free to hop in here anytime, but just going through this cheat sheet real quick. So first rule change is there is going to be 3 divisions this year instead of 4. And that's because 4 divisions worked out nicely with a 13 game regular season of fantasy. And now that we'll have 14 weeks, 3 divisions makes a lot more sense. So you'll play your division twice and play everyone else once. Works out nice and clean.
Nice and fair.
The fees also went up, but that's because we have an extra week of prize money, basically. So buy-ins at $290. Smitty was the first one to pay. Nice job.
I think it.
So, any further comments there, Dave? Like I said,
once we pick divisions, then we'll have the system generate a schedule, and then we'll futz with it as much as we can to try to get those last 3 weeks be intra-divisional. Although the system usually does a pretty good job with that. So we'll try to make those last few weeks be intra-divisional as best we can. But once we're done here, we should be able to generate a schedule in a day or two.
Yeah. Sweet. So we'll do that right now. So the keeper rules. So several things you got to pay attention to this year for the keeper rules. Number one, like it's always been, you have to keep 2 players and they cannot be of the same position. So can't keep 2 running backs or 2 tight ends or 2 wide receivers. So it has to be 2 separate positions for your keepers. We will not be keeping a defensive player going into this season. However, next year, the new rule will be we'll keep 3 players, 2 on offense, 1 on defense. So that will be a new rule. So as you're drafting this year, honestly, I don't think defensive players are as big of a deal to get someone who's young. But, keep that in mind. Next year, we'll be keeping a defensive player off your roster. So that's a new rule. The bonus keepers have also changed a little bit. All right. So because we've added more rounds to the draft, we've actually added another round this year because we're going to start a defensive flex. So right there, that was pretty much all the rule changes. So let's get into the bonus keeper. Bonus keeper, still going to be the same. So if you draft a player, let's say in the 10th round, and you want to bonus keep them the next year, you subtract 3 rounds off that pick. For this example, you could keep that player for a 7th rounder. Okay. So that has always been the same. But now let's say you pick someone in the last round. What do we got? Like 18 rounds this year or 17 rounds?
I think it's 17 or 18. I can't remember.
Yeah. So say you pick someone you like in the 17th round. All right. And you subtract 3 from that. That would be the 14th round. But just based on how many years you can keep that person, that will be a 12th round pick. So if that math works out to something higher than a 12th round pick, it's still going to be a 12th round pick that you can keep for a drafted player. Now, here's where the rule comes in. This is a little different. If you pick up a player off of waivers, okay, in the past, you could keep that player for, I believe, a 12th rounder, a 12th or 11th rounder. It was the last round of the draft, -3. Since there's more rounds, we've just netted that down to a 9th rounder. So if you pick someone up off of waivers and you want to bonus keep them the following year, it's an automatic 9th rounder.
And that's up through week 6 kickoff, right?
Yep.
So kickoff of the week 6 game. So anytime, basically, if you acquire anybody post-draft, but pre-kickoff of the Thursday night game week 6, then they'll count for a 9th rounder and then move on as they do for a bonus keeper. So there you go.
And that bonus keeper for a draft player, that's a good point, Dave, has to be 7th round or later. So if you draft someone in the 7th round this year, you like them, you want to bonus keep them, you could keep them next year for a 4th round draft pick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then the last thing.
And bonus keepers can be any position. You can duplicate one of your standard keepers. I assume most guys know that, but just worth reiterating. You know the word is. Fuck it. Yes. Cut this.
That's a big one.
Cut.
Bill, Haas,
damn it.
Anul.
All right.
So yeah, so that is another great point. Also in the cheat sheet, it is defensive players will be eligible to be bonus kept next year. Okay, so something else. So, typically, the last couple of rounds will be probably mostly defensive players, I would guess. So that's a good example for the new bonus keeper rule. So let's say you get a linebacker in the 17th round and they're a total stud. Again, you wouldn't be able to keep them for a 14th rounder. Best you can do is 12th. So you could keep that defensive player for a 12th round bonus. So I kind of like that rule change too, because, probably be a lot more bonus keepers and some good strategy too on when you're drafting all these different players.
Yep.
Last thing I have, this is a new rule too. So last year we started 3 defensive players, 1 defensive line, 1 linebacker, 1 defensive back. I think that went over really well. Everyone seemed to like that. So we're adding 1 defensive flex. So we're adding 1 player to the starting lineup from the defensive side of the ball. So that flex obviously can be from any position. And I think we'll add a little spice to the IDP format. Since, there's not a whole lot of difference kind of where we have it at. I think the flex is going to add the ability to kind of out scheme people on the IDP side of things.
We also added a roster spot to account for that extra starting position so that, people can maintain their benches as best they can.
Yep. And, something else we should mention here, last thing, we did change defensive scoring a little bit. It was really just more of a rationalization, stuff like blocked field goals and things that, kind of were a little bit out of whack. We just adjusted those. So if you go into the scoring feature on the website, you can see last year's stats, what they would have counted for this year. And quite honestly, they're within 1 or 2 points of what they were last year, just slightly tweaked down.
Yeah, it didn't really make too big of it. One of the biggest and most noticeable that we'll see is the passes broken up. They used to be like a 5 or a 4 point play. And now it's the equivalent of making a tackle, right? So It's just, kind of, it was 8 points for a blocked extra point last year. Like that's insane. That's more than a touchdown. So we just kind of adjusted that stuff, but it didn't really make changes in rankings and who did well. It actually kind of made the cream rise to the top even a little bit more. So not a huge change. Shouldn't change anybody's rankings.
Yeah. But, if you were a guy who was starting cornerbacks last year, cornerbacks definitely don't have that many tackles typically, but some were getting past deflections. So that should, factor into your thinking when you're drafting defensive players.
Yeah.
So real quick there on the rule changes, we'll draw the divisions now, extra week, a little more expensive. We went through the keepers. And the trade window is open. So you can make trades before you have to declare keepers up until a week from Sunday. So still a lot of time to do that. I've already heard little birdies out there making some trade talks. So that should be
What are
good.
you talking about? What are you talking about?
I've heard.
You stay away from my trade partners. Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Lots of action out there.
A lot of talking.
Always remember, if Dave offers you a trade, you should probably decline it.
That is categorically false.
The guy with 3 first-round picks.
Yeah, well, keep in mind, what I did. I had my season in the barrel last year to get those picks. Okay.
So we'll see if that pays off.
But that is worth mentioning, boys. I do have 3 first-round picks. So the trade window is open, willing to move some, if not all of those first round picks. Not all of them, but there's a couple first round picks for sale over here.
Yep.
All right, divisions.
All right. So that should conclude it. All the updates there. Hopefully you guys watched that if you don't know how to read. So
which you clearly don't, which you don't, because that's why we're doing the video.
Yes.
No offense, but that's
Bobby did read it though. He wanted that clear.
Well, there's reading comprehension issues there. I think reading is fine, but there's probably a lot of what does this word mean?
Right. Exactly. Use some big ones out there.
All right, Bob.
All right. So Smitty, I'm thinking. So we'll go across. So
right now, we'll just call them divisions 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. So first pick will be Team 1. Division 1, second pick will be Team 1, Division 2, and so on and so forth.
Do you want me to
if you
tabulate this?
The scribe.
All right, hold on. I gotta get I'm on my phone, so let me get my computer going because it's 2021 and I don't have any paper.
Well, I can send you a picture afterwards. I'll just put them in the same order, but the first one is Bobby D.
Bobby D. All right, here we go. Bobby D. Oh, you know what? I'll just go right on the website and do it. I know this is riveting podcasting, but why not?
So this is really only done for Dave Free, who probably thinks I'm rigging the divisions.
All right, so we have Kamala is going to be on Latina Fire. Okay, who's next?
Butthole Surfers.
The Butthole Surfers.
So
staying in the beach division.
Division 2. And the third one is you.
Oh boy, Reek. Actually, not anymore, Reek. Not perverted, just Italian.
Quote of a lifetime.
Even though I'm not Italian, but you know what I mean.
Speaking of perverted, next one is Big Poppy. So Big Poppy in there with Bobby D.
Okay, Bobby D. Big Poppy, got it. Okay.
Next is Glenn.
That's person, woman, camera, man, camera, TV. Okay, got it.
Next one, Seymour Bush.
Seymour Bush is great in my division. Isn't that nice?
Yep.
No, it's not.
Third one. So Team 3, Division 1, my brother, the bearded clam.
The bearded clam is in. Okay, go.
Next one, Derelict.
Derelict is in. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Next one is Panda.
I got Panda in my division.
It's out for blood.
All right. Okay.
Baker's Brownies, last team in the first division.
Baker's Brownies. And okay, go ahead.
Next one is Cream Fraiche.
You're in the middle one. Okay.
That's definitely the hardest division. Last one is Smash that subscribe button. That's definitely the easiest division.
It's my division.
Yeah. Although
All
honestly,
right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Save settings. Okay, fine. Fuck you. All righty. I think we got it. So we have Division 1 is the Bearded Clam. Kamala is a tranny. Baker's Brownies and the Big Poppy.
yep.
Division 2, we have the Butthole Surfers, Person, Woman, Man, Camera, TV, Creme Fraiche, and Derelict, My Balls. And Division 3 is Panda Man, Seymour Bush, Not Perverted, Just Italian, formerly Reek, and smash that subscribe button. There we go. We got them set. We got to reset the schedule though, Derek. It just gave me a little alert.
Okay.
So we'll have to regenerate a new schedule.
So yeah, we'll get those divisions set up and finalize everything. That should be the last piece that we need. Trade is open now, so you can make those trades on the website.
And keepers, how are they submitted? By email?
Keepers can be emailed or texted to us.
Okay. All right.
It's easier that way because we have the bonus keepers.
Oh yeah, and we got to select rounds for everything. So okay. All righty.
All right. Good luck, guys, in the off season. We'll see you at the draft.
Don't trade with Derek.
I don't need to trade. My team's good to go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there.